Hey guys, my name's Nate and I'm the Outdoorsman. In this video, I want to talk about plant IDs and using scientific names. Now this is a very important topic to me. Why? Well, here's the thing. Common names are kind of more conversational, whereas scientific names are universal. I could go to a French-speaking person and call one plant one thing, and they may call it another thing. But I give them a scientific name, and they know what it is. Let me give you an example. This plant is Betula lenta. Now, before I give you the common name, pause the video and take this word, Google it. Now you know what plant I'm talking about. I don't even have to tell you the common names. You know exactly what plant I'm talking about. And now I can give you a bunch of common names. Sweet birch, cherry birch, black birch, mahogany birch. The list goes on. Now, here's the thing. The reason why it's good to give scientific names when you're giving common names, at least with plant communication over the internet, is common names, they're generally local. They're great for conversations. Sweet birch rolls off the tongue. Betula lenta, that one will occasionally roll off the tongue. But some of the other ones won't always roll off the tongue. But they're good if you're writing something. It's good to write that down, mostly to the fact that I can give Betula lenta to someone who speaks French, someone who speaks Spanish, someone who speaks German, and they know exactly what plant I'm talking about. They can look it up, they can find it out, and if they have the plant in their area, it may not be Betula lenta because that's very much sourced to the northeastern part of the United States. But I could give them a completely different plant, and they can look it up, see if it's in their area, and they know exactly what common name that they can apply to it. And the thing is, the reason why scientists don't use common names is science is not one language. Neither is plant identification, neither is this hobby. We are not of one language. And using a universal language, such as scientific names, which is a Latin, they basically I'm blanking on the name right now, but essentially the species naming board chose Latin, basically gives us a universal naming convention. And thus I can go to any place on the planet and I have a universal naming convention for any species. And that allows me to learn a species. I spent some time down in Puerto Rico and years ago, and I was able to learn the snails by their species name. And you don't always have to call them by their full species name. It's often like I can't remember the genus of by genus and species. If you can't remember the genus, sometimes like Pipsawa or striped wintergreen is C. maculata. That's accepted in writing, but I mean, if you're going to write it out, you might as well fully write it out at least once, so you can kind of give a little bit more context to it. But anyways, think of it this way. Before I ramble too much more, think of a scientific name as a key. Think of it as kind of like a key to a lock, and think of the common names as that lock. Another good example, American wintergreen. I can't remember the scientific name. The species is procumbens, so basically G. procumbens, the full scientific name up here. American wintergreen goes by boxberry, teaberry, and a few other ones. And by me listing off those common names, you now know what I'm talking about. But G. procumbens, that plant, very common, one of my favorite ones. I get corrected on the common names all the time whenever I list it, or a good amount of the times. Same plant. So, and that's something I run into a lot, especially when I'm doing plant videos. So I've come into the habit of always including a scientific name, because local names, internet names constantly change. Think of it this way. Everyone knows me as Nate. You guys know me as Nate. A lot of my coworkers know me as Nate. A lot of people who meet me for the first time know me as Nate. But here's the thing. My real name's Nathaniel. Well, at least that's my given name. Same concept. Actually, a lot of people also call me Otter. That's also accepted. Some names I don't accept. I'm not going to tell them here, but they're names I don't accept. Nate is a nickname. Nathaniel is my actual name. I go by both. Same thing with plants. Their given name, or what their name is their scientific name, and that is a universal name. The common name is a local name, and it's okay to give the common name, especially when you're talking to someone locally, when you're using it conversationally. When I'm talking to someone going, okay, I'm gonna go harvest some sweet birch to make some tea. I'm going to harvest some American wintergreen or some wintergreen to make some tea. I'm gonna go cut up some white pine to go get the fire going. But when you're making a video like this, or when I'm making a video, saying just straight up, I'm gonna go cut up some birch. It's like, it's like birch is edible. It can get dangerous. Not properly identifying a plant, and giving it the proper name and showing you, okay, this is this plant, and saying this plant is, it's like, or saying, look out for American wintergreen, and then leaving it at that could be a little dangerous. So that's why whenever I say this is American wintergreen, and then I put it up there, I've lately been trying to include a scientific name. So when you go to do your research and you're looking up wintergreen, you're not running into spotted wintergreen, which is also known as pipsawa, which is not really that edible. You're not running into other things and things like that. So understand with plant communication, or if you find groups like the Plant ID group on Facebook, why they want scientific names is because common names are generally local and generally only for English. Another good example, white birch. White birch, or paper birch, or canoe birch, actually has like 6 to 12 names, but it's Betula papyrifera, or I'm mispronouncing that. Again, name will probably be up here. Betula papyrifera, but it has multiple common names, and they're all accepted. So, remember, scientific names are universal. Common names are local or colloquial. And they're good for conversations. But if someone uses a common name that you don't like, just understand. They may just use a different common name than you. If you just need to make sure they're using the same, if you want to make sure you're talking about the same plant, just double check. Make sure that they're talking about the same plant with the scientific name. It's like a key. Anyways, my name's Nate, and I'm the Otter Outdoorsman. Remember, get on the woods, have some fun, learn something new. See you, everyone.